Good evening and welcome to the March 12, 2026 Board of Trustee meeting for Johnson County Community College. If you please join me by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, we are going to, I believe we've got 5 of us present here in the boardroom. I believe we also have Trustee Mitchell on the line. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and Trustee Cross, are you also present? All right, so we're going to call it 6 present at 5 o'clock. And we are going to roll into our very first and most favorite part of the evening, our student spotlight this evening with Charlie. Dr. Mixa, tell us about Charlie.
All right, we're excited to have Charlie Bethea come to the podium. We appreciate and looking forward to hearing what he has to say. I think you'll be really excited to hear about all the great things that he's doing, his journey to JCC, and some of the great things that he's doing. Come on up, Charlie.
Hi, everybody. My name, as he said, is Charlie Bethea, and I am in my last semester at JCCC. I'm going to transfer to UMKC after this to major in business and accounting and then go on to law school from there. At JCCC currently, I am Vice President of the Honor Student Association, Secretary of Phi Theta Kappa, and an International Club Officer. And I was just appointed Vice President of Leadership for the Heartland region of Phi Theta Kappa, which includes Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. And I have really appreciated the things that JCCC has done for me and its community of people that have shown me, I mean, I'm very, as a rule, averse to change. And so coming to JCCC from high school was a big difference for me. And they really fearmonger blind students in high school. They're like, once you get to college, it is all downhill from here. Mm-hmm. And so I was expecting, well, that. And what I got was a very supportive college full of faculty and professors who truly want to see their students succeed and give them all of the opportunities for success that they possibly can. Access services has been fantastic. The honors program is really where I have found my community of people, and the honors advisors are truly, they want you to get involved, and they honestly mandate getting involved as part of the honors program with the exploratory experiences that they have us do. And I don't see that at a lot of other schools. And so I think that our honors program is very, very good about that. And throughout, I mean, when I first came to JCCC, I was the kid who like went to class and then like maybe bought a coffee and then went home. I was like, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to do anything. I was nervous. But then throughout my journey, there have been people who have said, hey, what if you did this? What if you did that? And I was like, no. And then I was like, maybe. And then it just wouldn't leave my brain. And so that's how I ended up running for Phi Theta Kappa and for honors and International Club and doing all of these things. And then eventually expanding from being involved in JCCC to being involved in the whole like 3-state Heartland region of PTK. And I don't think that I would have been comfortable enough with doing any of that stuff if it weren't for the staff and faculty at JCCC and how supportive they have been of getting people involved and wanting to see people succeed.
All right, Charlie, we're going to ask you to stay right there at the dais if it's all right, and we're going to ask you a few questions. My name is Trustee Smith-Everett. I'm the chairman, and I'm sitting at the dais in a blue blazer and a white top, and it has been a pleasure hearing your story. I'm going to turn it over to any other trustees if anyone would like to ask Charlie a question. All right, Trustee Jennings.
Good evening.
I have several questions for you because your story is just awesome. So, number one, it's not a question, but I'm so glad that you took the risk of college after all the doomsday warnings that you got. And I'm glad that you found yourself here because it sounds like Johnson County Community College has been a great place as a springboard for you, for your future, from what you just shared. So my first question is, when you were in high school, did you have the same future plans as you now do?
I kind of. I came into JCCC doing the paralegal program because I wanted to do that and then transfer to law school. And then I actually started doing paralegal things. And I mean, it's cool. We need paralegals. But it's just like formatting documents and like doing that kind of stuff. And that's never really what interested me in law. And so my grandpa is an accountant. And so the more I talked to him, I was like, well, what if I, do this? And so I was going to do accounting and then go to a CPA. And then that divulged into like, I would be bored. And so I decided to move more into fraud investigation and going for my CFE. And then I was like, well, that's really just law. So why don't I just like kind of think about going back into law? So
Full circle.
full circle.
I love that.
That's a great start. You're going to go places, that's for sure.
Thank you.
So you said that you had several people here at the college that encouraged you to do this or do that. Were those other students? Were those professors? Were those counselors?
I would say that those were mainly professors and counselors and like other faculty, such as access services and honors advisors.
They saw your potential. Yes, yeah. Lastly, I just want to say congratulations on your new appointment.
Thank you.
No good luck in the future because I don't think you need luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee Jennings. Anyone else? All right, Trustee Carroll.
Hi, Charlie. My name is Chad Carroll. I'm here in a blue blazer and a kind of a gold yellow tie. I wanted to ask you, first off, because with all of these, warnings that you were supposed to take heed to, why did you choose to come to JCCC?
So I think that the warnings were basically subject to every college. It was like, no matter where you go, it's going to be terrible. And it's really a pattern of like fear mongering. I went to a preschool for visually impaired children, and they were like, yeah, once you get past preschool, it's going to be horrible. It's just a thing that they do. And it's quite interesting because I think that personally that blind people have enough anxiety already, but that's personal preference. And so it was like, you have to find the college with good access services, and like you have to reach out to them, and like you're going to be responsible for everything. And so I think that the reason why I chose JCCC was, first of all, I knew people that had gone here before, and they were like, oh, it's really good. And it's, it's like, it's going to do what you need it to do. And also, it was the closest community college, and I did not want to go straight to a four-year university. And I'm pretty sure that my parents would not let me stay on the couch for the rest of my life.
That's great to hear. Thank you. My last question is there anything that we can do better here at JCCC?
I think, honestly, accessibility-wise, we are a very good school. I think if we were to improve something, I would say more, like we're doing so much with the online accessibility right now. I think that the best thing that we could do was make things like our bookstore and our market and our like food court, stuff like that, more online present. Because right now it's very difficult to know. Like there's so many things in the market and in the food court and in the bookstore that I just like don't know that they exist because there's no like online menu or anything like that. And so I just kind of find out by listening to other people in line ahead of me order something, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So I think if we were to change anything, it would be to increase the online presence of those little shops on campus.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Carroll. Trustee Rattan.
Great question and answer about what we can do differently. I just want to say what I'm taking away from this are, life lessons I think can be applied to everyone that you're sharing. Like, we can do hard things, and even if people are saying it's hard, you still attack it, head towards it, and figure it out. Also, I love that you talked about how people were saying, try this and try that, and it's okay to say no until you find your lane and you find what drives you and what you're passionate about, and you're not trying it just because, someone else said to try it. And then the story you just shared about going through different majors and coming back to law, I absolutely love that, because I think that's what community colleges are here for you to explore those things in a low-risk way and then come into what you feel is your true calling. So thanks for sharing that for all students of all abilities. Those are life lessons that we're all still learning at our age. And so thanks a lot, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Charlie, it's back to me. Trustee Smith Everett up here with the blue blazer, and I want to thank you for telling your story. I wanted to know, you said you're in your last semester, so where are you going from here? And can we call ahead and say you're going to be doing fabulous, and there should be no concerns whatsoever about you not doing fantastic wherever you go?
I hope to transfer to UMKC after this. First, I have to get out of the hole of denial that I have dug myself and actually apply. But once I do that, I feel like it'll be fine.
Very good. Well, we wish you the best of luck. You are a remarkable young man. As several other trustees have said, you're going to go great places, and we will be better for it. And I am a K-12 educator, and I'm going to take your story back to K-12 and tell them to stop fear-mongering. Any student can come to JCCC, and we will make sure that they can be successful. So thank you for telling your story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Mixa, that takes us to our new segment, which is our campus spotlight, which we are also very excited to hear about tonight.
Okay, before I throw the campus spotlight, I just want to thank Charlie for coming in. I met him almost right away when I got here, and he has been a great student. We love working with him, so really it's been fun. So thank you, Charlie. You have a great evening. We're going to throw it now to another rock star that we have on campus. You guys already got to see a little bit about what he does a little earlier by touring his area, but let's have Robbie Miller come on up to the podium for this marvelous presentation I know that he's planned.
Down.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Robbie, and I'm the coordinator for the Student Basic Needs Center here on campus. And so today I was just invited to share a little bit about myself and to share a little bit about the Student Basic Needs Center and some of the work that we do in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So anytime that I talk about the Student Basic Needs Center, I always like to make sure that people know when it actually came into existence. So it's actually been around since December 5th of 2019, which I always say was like perfect timing, because obviously we all know what happened a few months later. So I was like, that was a really good time for the center to come about. I was not here, well, I was here at JCCC, but I was not here at the beginning of the center. The former coordinator, Stephen Franklin, actually was there when the center all started. So I always like to give a shout out to Steve, because he really laid the foundation for the Student Basic Needs Center. And then I came after him and just continued on the great work that he already was doing. So of course the center is here in the General Education Building. So I always tell people, if you can't figure out where we are, if you know where the CoLab is and if you know where the Student Lounge is, we're right in the middle of those two. So we're in room 153, and that's a picture of it right there. And we're open Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. And then, of course, I wanted to put the mission there, and you're more than welcome to read that. But what I like to tell people, what we do is we are here to help students outside of the classroom for any type of hardships or just anything that they may be going through that may be affecting their academics. So that's what I like to tell people about what we do typically in the Student Basic Needs Center. And then I also like to talk about who actually works in the Student Basic Needs Center, because a lot of people think it's just me, which is not true. I have a lot of help. And so I'll tell you all who works there. So of course me, as you can see there in parentheses, I put Robbie because my name is Robert, and I did not discover that most people did not know that until I got my 10-year pin last year. And on the screen, they said, "What do you want your name to say?" I said, "Oh, Robert." And when it said Robert up there, a lot of people after the fact were like, "Your name is Robert?" I was like, yes. I was like, outside of here, believe it or not, nobody calls me Robbie. I have been Robert my entire life, so 34 years. I am Robert. My mother just kind of warmed up to Robbie because at first she was like, "Who is Robbie?" I was like, "Oh, that's what they call me at work." And so now she calls me that. So yes, my name is Robert. If you call me Robert, I'm okay with that because outside of here, literally every single person that knows me calls me Robert. So I've been working here since August of 2015. So as soon as I graduated from college, I attended Washburn University. I think about 3 months later, in August, I had just like randomly applied here. Like I was just telling the trustees that I was at my sister's house, just using her Wi-Fi, just at her house, just applying for jobs. And this happened to be one of the last places that I applied to, and the only place that actually called me back. So when I started here, I was a success advocate over in the Student Success Center. And then after that, I became the concierge for the admissions department where I would coordinate group campus visits. So like when you see groups on campus of like even elementary school kids and middle school kids and high school kids, a lot of that had to do with me. So I did that for a little bit. Then I became a recruiter. So I spent a lot of time off campus going to visit area high schools, attending college fairs, giving a lot of classroom presentations and things of that nature. Then in July of 2023, I transitioned into this role as the coordinator for the Student Basic Needs Center. And so outside of here, probably the most interesting thing about me right now is I'm pursuing a doctorate. So I'm a student at KU, so the University of Kansas, and I'm pursuing an EDD in Higher Education Administration. And so I will be done in May of 2027. I'm going to be done. So next year I'll be done with that. And then the other two people who are on the screen with me, so these are two students that work in the center with me. So they are student life ambassadors. So the first one is Nardisella, so right there in the middle. She's been working there for about 2 months now, so they're both new. She's pursuing her general education here at Johnson County Community College, and then she's going to transfer to KU to study political science. And the trustees just got to meet with her. She was super excited that they were coming, and I was like, well, you want to talk to him? You can. She said, yeah. I was like, okay, well, good. So she did a great job with that. And then on the right side there is Ayush. So he's also been here maybe about 2 months with me. He's also an ambassador here. He's pursuing liberal arts, and he's also going to transfer to KU to study computer science. So that is the Student Basic Needs Center staff. And I just always like to make sure that I shed light on the people who actually work there with me, because there's no way that I could do everything in there that we do daily by myself. And they have been tremendous. They came in a couple months ago, both brand new, and I'm very proud of both of them. They picked up on the job really quick, so I definitely wanted to make sure I shared a little bit about them too. So today, I'm just going to talk to you all about the primary resources that we offer in the Student Basic Needs Center. So that would be the Food Pantry, Equipment Loan Program, and the Student Assistance Fund. And then I'll mention a little bit about some of the other additional resources that we offer as well, so you all can share with people around campus, especially students who may not know that we actually exist here on campus. So I always start off talking about the food pantry because when you come into the Student Basic Needs Center, that's pretty much what you see. And a lot of times people think that is the entire Student Basic Needs Center, but that is part of it. So the food pantry is open to all currently enrolled JCCC students. So if someone is just literally taking one class here, they can come and use the pantry. We are not strict on who can access the pantry. So students can come one time per week, and they can get up to 15 items. And as you can see there on the screen, I have it broken down there. So they can get 5 personal care items, they can get 5 non-perishable items, and they can get 5 cold items, and that just means refrigerated or a freezer, because we have a refrigerator and freezer in there as well. The only thing that they need to bring is their JCCC ID card. And now, since we have the physical copy and the virtual copy, we'll take both. So as long as they have that, they are good to go. And I always like to give people like tricks and tips about things. So I always tell people, if you come on Friday, you can come right back on Monday, because we restart every Monday. So I like wink at people. I'm like, just come back on Monday. And they're like, oh, I get it. I'm like, yeah, just do that. So if you come on Thursday, you don't have to wait till like next Thursday. I was like, I think that's too long to wait. So I'm in charge. I say you can come back on Monday. So that's what I like to do for people. I always like to share different ways to help them. One thing that people ask me a lot is, where do you get your items from? And so I've got in the habit of being like, I probably should like memorize like where we get our stuff from. So we get a lot of items from Walmart. We get items from Amazon. We get items from Harvesters, the Community Food Network. And then we also get a lot of community donations. A little bit of good news. We had our site visit for Harvesters today. We passed. So that's a good thing. So they come here once a year to just make sure, to just check out the pantry, make sure things are great. And I always have to laugh at myself, because I'm like really like a type A person. So like if you come in the pantry, it's like very much like organized. And they were like, this is very like organized. I was like, it's me. I was like, it's just me. It's just a me thing. And I think my employees, they've caught on to that. They're like, oh, you are really like organized. I'm like, yeah. And so the philosophy I kind of have behind that is like, if you're already kind of going through a lot in life, why would you want to come in somewhere and it's chaotic? Like, I don't want any students to come in there and their stuff is all over the place and you're just trying to search for some rice and you walk out with beans. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. So I like things to be nice and neat, and just to kind of ease whatever stress that students may have just for a little bit of period of time. So that's a little bit about the food pantry, and then that's kind of what it looks like, some of the items that you see in there. And then I wanted to mention a few more things. So we are pretty busy in the pantry, so I went back in time a little bit and looked up all of the visits that we have like each semester in the pantry. So I started, of course, in the fall of 2019 and went all the way to this semester currently. And as you can see, we have a lot of students coming to visit the pantry and using it. I highlighted fall 2023, spring 2024, and fall 2024 for a specific reason. So the numbers kind of dipped a little bit, and the reason why is because we moved into our new space down here. So a lot of people were like, we didn't know you moved, or were just finding us, or people were discovering us for the first time. But once we got back up to, I would say, about spring of 2025 and fall 2025, as you can see, the numbers started to rise again. And then here in the spring semester, we are averaging about 107 students per week that come into the pantry, which it doesn't seem like it, but I get a weekly report, and that's how many students are coming in. When I first started, it would be like maybe 50 or 60 students, if that would use the pantry per week. So each semester, there's more and more students starting to use the pantry, which is good. And sometimes people will come into the pantry and they might see a shelf that looks a little empty. And I'm like, well, that means people have been here. So that's a good thing. If it was full, you might be like, well, what's going on in here? So we stay pretty busy in the pantry. We have a lot of students coming there to visit, which is a good thing that people know that we exist. And then just wanted to mention donations. So people always ask, what can we help out with, or like what can we donate? So we can accept non-perishable items. And I just put a few examples there of things that we tend to kind of see students take a lot, or that we notice that like, oh, we could use more of. We can also accept personal care items. Once again, those are items that are pretty popular with students. And then I wanted to give a shout out to the Atonement Lutheran Church. So this church, which are the photos there, so they donate items to us each semester, like they just email me or call me and say, what can we help you all with? And then maybe about a month later, they're like, hey, we got the items, can we come drop them off? And so just on February 23rd, they did their semesterly drop off for us, and they don't ask us for anything. They literally just say, what can we help with? And so I just always want to make sure that I'm thanking people like publicly, because you can thank people behind the scenes, but I think it's important to thank people publicly for the work that they do. And they've been doing this probably even before I started. We've had other people sponsor shelves for us. So one thing I think of is a few semesters ago, the police department actually, they sponsored, it was our coffee and tea shelf. And that was the most popular shelf in the center that semester. And they did that, I think it was in the spring semester when we were doing that. And so they would just bring it on the 15th and the last day of each month. Once again, see, that's the payday. So I was like, let me just set that up on pay dates here. I was like, I think that would be a good idea. So they would always keep those shelves stocked, so I appreciated that. We had people who sponsored a peanut butter shelf. There were like a deodorant shelf. So I'm always open to different ideas from people. Like if there's something that you just want to sponsor and you just want to have a shelf, definitely open to that. We also have a Amazon wish list on the Student Basic Needs Center webpage. So here's our brochure here. And people can go on there and they can check out the Amazon wish list. I've been doing a better job of keeping it updated. Sometimes I get so caught up in other things. I'm like, I need to make sure I keep that Amazon wish list updated. Now it is updated. I've been making sure to do that. So the items come directly to us, and sometimes people will write us messages too. And if I can reach out to them to say thank you, I definitely do that too. And so now I'll move on to probably, I would say, our most second popular resource, which would be the equipment loan program. So each semester, we allow students to borrow a laptop from us or a Wi-Fi hotspot, or if they need both, they can do that as well. So currently, we have 152 laptops. So we have 132 Chromebooks, 15 PC laptops, and then 5 MacBook Pros. And then we have a little more than 20 Wi-Fi hotspots. And so this is completely free to students. They just apply online through our Student Basic Needs Center webpage. And like I said, they can borrow it for the entire semester. So for example, the students who borrow this semester, they'll have to return all the equipment on May 18th, which is the last day of the semester. And sometimes students say, well, what if I still have work? I'm like, you'll be done the week before. I do it on purpose. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, I just want to give you a little more time to check your grades and like finish up anything or whatnot, but we do that for a reason. And so this semester, we have 135 students have borrowed devices from us. So sometimes that can be a little overwhelming to manage, but with my personality, of course, I have a very tight spreadsheet, and then we have another system too, and I look at it every single day. So I know who has what, and once again, that's just, I think, my personality of just making sure things are organized and all together, and that's just an example of what some of those laptops look like. And so once again, this is completely free to students, and if you know any students who may need a computer, I think we still have about maybe 10 left because we had some returns recently, so they can just stop by the center. I have the application closed right now. They can just stop by the center with their student ID card and we'll check it out to them. And then the third resource I wanted to mention was the Student Assistance Fund. So we have a Student Assistance Fund here through the Student Basic Needs Center that we use to assist students who have past due bills, or another way I like to say that is delinquent bills. So it's a one-time assistance, and they can receive up to $500 to put towards these bills. So these are the categories that we're able to help them with. So car insurance, cell phone bills, child care, medical expenses, mortgage, rent, utilities, and specifically we help with electricity, gas, trash, and water. I would say, in my personal opinion, I probably received the most requests for rent and probably utilities a lot, but I would say rent is probably like the number one that I'd see a lot of requests coming through for. So they can apply online. That application is open right now. And it's really simple. They just fill out the application, let us know what it is that they're requesting. They do have to submit documentation to us. So like if they're asking for assistance with like their Evergy bill, for example, they can just upload the bill there. Or I try to be flexible, like they can upload a screenshot, but I'm like, I need to see your name, just things like that. And then I'm pretty prompt, so like if I see something comes in, I'll reach out to a student that same day, just because I'm like, if this bill is past due, like you probably want to get it paid as soon as possible. So if someone submitted one earlier today and then I happen to see it, I mean, they probably could be funded tomorrow, just depending on how quick they reply to me. And if they have like direct deposit set up through the college, the funds go straight to them, or if not, then they receive a paper check in the mail. So last semester, we were able to help 21 students. This semester so far, we've helped 9 students. And so we do have eligibility criteria with the Student Assistance Fund. So that's why sometimes the numbers are a little lower compared to the other resources that we offer. And even if we can't help them through this, then we try to point them to external resources like in the community that may be able to assist them. And then kind of going forward in the future, so I would say we're doing pretty good with food. So I'm always going to accept food, like if people are wanting to donate food. But for people who are wanting to support the Student Basic Needs Center, I'm probably going to ask people to start looking more into the Student Assistance Fund, because we just have a lot of requests that sometimes we can't assist people with, or they're asking for more than maybe we could provide. So I think this is something like in the future, like if you ask me, what do you need help with? This will be something that I mention to people, just because we have a lot of students who need assistance with some of these categories here. And then just to kind of finish up here, so we do have some additional resources that we offer to students. So one thing that I get a few questions about is the Cavalier Meal Share program. And so to keep this kind of short and simple, so students who apply for this, they are awarded money to use on their JCCC student ID card daily, and they can use it anywhere on campus that serves food. So that could be the food court, the coffee shops, the restaurant on campus, or even a vending machine. And this is just a daily thing that they receive. So that's just another way to make sure that students are eating while they're here on campus. Then with housing, so people ask us a lot about housing. So typically we assist students like with emergency situations. So we keep a lot of information about area shelters, transitional housing programs, just things of that nature. Websites like if people may be looking for a room to rent or just anything like that. Transportation. So I sent out a message in InfoHub maybe like a week or two ago, but we are looking into some other options for transportation for students, like free transportation, just to get them to campus and then back home for free. So as soon as we kind of figure that out, I'll be sending out more information, probably through InfoHub. And then of course, students can just come over to the Student Basic Needs Center and we'll be able to help them with that. As far as social support services go, like if students are coming to us and wanting to know about like things like healthcare, there are places we'll refer them to that maybe you don't necessarily have to have insurance to be able to go to that place. Or like the dental hygiene clinic on campus, we tell them about the teeth cleanings that they offer for, I think it's $10. So just little things like in the community that we know students can take advantage of. We always have a holiday food drive yearly, so that goes on pretty much through the holiday season. Thrift and Thrive, so at the beginning of the fall semester, and for the people who have worked here quite some time, the old Java Jazz space, like the old coffee shop space, I don't know what it's called now, but like in that area by the food court, when you see a lot of students in there picking up items that people have donated, that's a partnership between myself and the Center for Sustainability. And to be honest, the Center for Sustainability does a lot of that. I never like to take credit for other people's work. They really do a lot of the, I'll say the heavy lifting with Thrift and Thrive, but those are gently used items that students can come and pick up completely for free, like if they're moving into an apartment or anything like that. I've seen air fryers there, griddles, pots and pans, just all types of stuff that you would need, like if you're moving by yourself for the first time. The community resource fair, so that's been like a newer thing that we've been doing. So we had one back in the fall, and so that's when we just invite like area organizations to campus that might be useful to students who have some resources that they can check out. The coat drive was something new that we did a few weeks ago, or I should say maybe a couple months ago. And so that's just something we wanted to do to be able to make sure students have a coat. So that was the Faculty Association and the Student Basic Needs Center, because we see a lot of people walking around without a coat. Some people don't want to wear a coat, and then some people just don't have one. So I think that's something we're going to continue to do, because once they saw the coats in there, they were like, oh, you all have coats, and people would take them, and it was completely free. So I was like, this is something that we should definitely continue to do. And then lastly here, so something new we've been trying is our mobile pop-up pantry. So we decided to take the pantry like outside of the pantry, if that makes sense. So we just went to the Olathe Health Education Center on, I think it was Tuesday of this week, because we know some of those students may not come to main campus a lot or may not know that the Student Basic Needs Center is here. A couple months ago, we went over to the Career and Technical Education Center just because that's a little further away from GEB. So this is something still new for us that we're figuring out, but something we want to continue to do just to make sure that we're accessing a lot of different pockets of students who may not be able to make it to main campus. And then lastly here, that is our contact information. So the general Student Basic Needs Center contact information is at the top there. And then if you want to contact me directly, that's my information there too. But that's just kind of like a general overview of the Student Basic Needs Center. So any chance that I can come out and talk about us and make sure people know who I am, make sure people know who my staff are, and just that the center exists, I always take advantage of that. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity this evening. But
All right,
you.
thank you, Robert, for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Robert is how I should address you. I'm going to go based on what your mother prefers. I think that's the most important.
Yeah,
so.
I think her and my dad, probably Robert, but
Okay,
it's
we're going to
it's
go with
okay.
Robert. So I'm going to open it up for any questions from any trustees, and then I'm going to go to Trustee Jennings, who has a little bit of a challenge for us here on the board. And if Trustee Mitchell and Cross have any questions, feel free to let us know that. All right, Trustee Holton.
Okay, I love everything you presented. I love how much your heart is into this. It definitely draws me in as well. I do have a question for you, and you may or may not have an answer for this, but it's something that I typically ask a lot. So in 2019, somebody saw a need, and for something like this. And I'm curious what was happening in 2019 or the years prior that they said, we need to do this. And here we are today in 2025. What does success look like at the end of your day, at the end of your week, at the end of the year, when you look back on what you've done in the student in this area at Johnson County Community College?
Absolutely. So from my understanding, kind of back in 2019 and maybe even before that, just some different people on campus saw that there was a need for like a bigger space. I think there was a food pantry here, but I think they were like, we need something bigger. We need to make sure students have more access to food on a regular basis. And so just from what I was told, that's kind of how the rumblings for the Student Basic Needs Center came together. And then voila, here we go. And then as far as like at the end of the day, what success looks like for me, I always think of like the commencement ceremony, because over in Student Life and Leadership, we pretty much are in charge of that. And the past couple years, like when I see students who use the space on a regular basis, like walk across the stage and then they come up and hug me, or they just say, hey, I remember you, do you remember me? And sometimes I don't even recognize them, just depending on makeup or whatever people are wearing. You just never know. You're like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. They're like, you know, if it wasn't for that space and just being able to come there, then I don't know if I would have actually made it to the commencement ceremony, or just you all being nice to me or having a conversation with me, you know, when I would come there weekly. It's things like that to me that feel like success. And then kind of on a smaller level, just when students come in and they come in and they get their, I'll say for the food pantry, they get their items. Like I'm thinking of these 2 students that were just in there right before you all came in, and they come in every week, they get their items, and I can hear them kind of like having a conversation with each other. They're like, you get this, I get that. We can do this meal, we do that meal. And I'm like, that's smart. You know, I'm like, that actually makes sense. Seeing them be able to come in weekly and knowing that they're actually going to have something to eat and they're coming up with ideas for meals, to me, feels like success. And the same thing with the Student Assistance Fund. Like, I have so many emails in my inbox of people being like, thank you so much. You don't know how much this is going to help me. Or if I meet them in person, they're like, you probably don't know me. And I'm like, I don't. I'm like, do we know each other? They're like, we were talking via email. You helped me pay a bill. I'm like, oh, you. And I'm still like, what's your name? And I'm like, then I start to remember. So for me, it's things like that, like those testimonials, just being stopped at commencement or being stopped at the coffee shop, because these are things that happen to me a lot. So I would say that.
All right. Trustee Carroll, did you indicate? You
Yes,
had a-
I had something.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Robert, for all of your coordination of this center, and it is an amazing center. I do have a couple of questions. So first, I do want to put a plug in for the Amazon wish list. It is the CAV cupboard for everyone out there watching. And as Robert said, it comes directly to the Student Basic Needs Center, which is great. I was going to ask, what are you planning to do once you graduate?
I've been getting that question a lot. And my answer is, I don't know. Like, I've been here so long. It's hard for me to imagine, honestly, being anywhere else. Like,
Good answer.
That's what I was looking for.
and like,
Thanks, Madam
and like
Chair.
legitimately, that's how I feel, because it's been a little over 10 years now. And, I've had people ask me, like, well, what do you never wanted to go anywhere else? And I'm like, well, if it's not broke, then don't fix it. It's kind of how I look. Every day at work is not easy. There are days where I'm like, well, it's time to go. But a lot of the times the good outweighs the bad. And like, I've worked with so many people here who I feel like have seen me grow up, if that makes sense. Because I was 23 when I started, and I look at like some of my pictures, I was like, oh, I look like such a child. And I'm 34 now, and like people are like, I remember when you started, and just to see you kind of like mature into a man, they're like, and just to see the different jobs you've had and the things you've done, they're like, please don't leave, we want you to stay here. It's like a few different people that say that to me every time. So I don't know, but I don't want to leave. So I'm going to say, I don't know.
Great. Okay.
So if something opens up, we'll see. But as far as now goes, this is my passion, and I want to continue to grow the Student Basic Needs Center. So we'll see what that looks like going forward in the future.
Okay. And my final question is, I know you discussed it with us earlier. What are some of the items that go the fastest within the Student Basic Needs Center?
I can go through each section. So in the personal care section, the laundry detergent goes so fast. I'm going to get some more tomorrow, but I know that might actually last because it's spring break next week. But we'll still be open, so maybe not. So that goes fast. The deodorant, the toothpaste, I never see that. I'm like, we just got some. That goes pretty quickly. A lot of the soap goes fast. We're doing excellent on diapers right now. We have a lot of diapers, but that used to go really fast. But luckily, we're good. We're good on the period products because we actually receive those from Period Project KC monthly now. So they supply us with period products, which has been helpful because those used to go pretty fast too. Then over in our non-perishable section, pancake mix just leaves peanut butter, jelly, cereals. I would say probably rice, which luckily we have that now. Just everything, to be honest. But I would say those things. Oh, oatmeal. We never can really keep that a lot. That goes pretty fast. And then over in the refrigerated section, we can't accept donations for that, but just to keep going through the list, I was milk, eggs, a lot of of course, like frozen pizza, stuff like that, like stuff that people enjoy, which makes sense.
I think I'm going to cut you off a little bit. I think that is a very robust list.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll, do you have any more?
No, that was
Okay.
it. Thank you so much.
Trustee Jennings, you have a question?
I do.
Okay.
Do you have to make it really quick?
That would be great, just in the interest of the rest of our
Two
agenda.
personal ones before I get to the real questions. So from now on, do I call you Robbie or Robert? Because I'm a Valerie, but the second time people see me, it's Val.
You can call me whichever. I answer to both.
That's always that's what I say to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
either
whichever.
one?
I literally answer to both,
All right.
so it's fine.
All right. If I'm around your mom, it's Robert though, right?
That's right.
You know what? She likes Robbie now. Like I've become Robbie Dar, so you know.
My other personal question is, because this is your passion, I can tell that. What are you thinking you're going to do your dissertation on?
So I can't say this now because people have been asking me. It's going to be history based because we're supposed to do it over something we like. And I took a history of higher ed class last fall, and I really enjoyed learning about the history of higher ed. And it's going to have something to do with World War II. So I'll just say that. So yeah, I'm still figuring out like what that's gonna look like. I have an advisor now. I have to have a topic picked out by the summer. So if he's watching, I promise I have remembered. So yeah, it'll do with higher education and World War II.
I'm surprised. You surprised me. I thought it would have something to do with student need.
They were
could
like,
fit
you
that
know
in.
what, this is something you want to write about. And I was like, I really like that class. I was like, I'm just going to take a chance and do it. So, yeah.
Okay, now the real questions.
Yeah.
So do you believe, so in addition to more and more students needing support with basic needs, do you think the move to a more visible spot has also provided more students understanding that accessibility to get the things that they do need is really available to them, and they don't have to feel shame or embarrassment to walk in that door?
I believe it has. I think just the space that we're in now, like people can just see us more. And I think from things that I hear, people are like, you all were kind of tucked away before. And some people are like, we like that because it was a little more private. And then a lot of people are like, no, we prefer this. So it's just normal. Like this isn't something to be ashamed about or anything like that. So I would say I prefer this space because, like I said, we're more visible. People know where we are. It's easier for people to bring people to us instead of maybe trying to find like the old space. So I think having this visibility is great. And I think when people are down here, they're just seeing people over in the student lounge playing and doing whatever. They're like, okay, well, I can go on the basic needs. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just like we're just a part of campus, and that's what we really are. So I think so. Yeah.
My other question I have is, if you ever find that there's more need than there is equipment available for a loan, how would you handle, what did we do?
So what we usually do is we always keep like a list of places where students can actually purchase like refurbished laptops that are very affordable.
Okay.
And so a lot of students will do that. We always tell students about all the computer labs we have on campus, other places where they can use a laptop for the day. We also have a lot of people return laptops to us because they're like, actually I have a laptop, and I'm like, okay, thank you. And they're like, I really don't need it. So we try to keep some type of resource for students who may not have one, but compared to a lot of other places and what people tell me, they're like, you all have a lot of devices. I was like, oh, I thought that was just kind of normal across the board. They're like, no, some places only have like 20, 25 or something. They're like, you all have over 100. So yeah.
Right now you're doing okay.
Yes, we're doing, and these devices are brand new. So last semester, the students used them. They were the first students to ever use these, I think, since 2020 when we had gotten some then. So these are new. Yes, you're welcome.
All right, Trustee Rattan.
Quickly, we talk about inclusion and belonging. For me, this is a part of that whole umbrella under inclusion and belonging. And I we met in Articella, and with just 2 months under her belt working there, she was very knowledgeable. But with a coach like you, I see how she is. Your passion shows through, and I can tell that you're invested. In something like this, a lot of people can feel a lot of shame. And when they walk in and they see your face and just the way that you've greeted us, and I've seen you in action, I think that gives them a level of comfort that they do feel like coming back again and again. So I'm glad that people are reaching out and thanking you, because you deserve to know that. And then my final 2 more points. Did you take your headshots in the headshot studio in the, did you see those headshots? In the collab. Anyway, they looked really nice, so go to the collab for headshots.
Thank
But if you didn't know, Dr. McLeod is a student of history with PhDs, 3 or 7
I
of them. And so
remember.
if you ever need to know anything about history from medieval times to now, he's your guy.
We'll be getting a meeting
If you need
request
to
soon. Yeah.
Make that connection between higher and World War II. He wrote it down. I'm telling you, he's got the answer. right.
Robbie and I are old friends. He trained my daughter when she was an ambassador.
Oh, there you go.
Bobby, thank you, and thank you for everything we do. And I know Val has some announcements.
Yeah, so Trustee Jennings, go ahead with your challenge to the board.
So a couple of the other board members and I had just in dialogue in passing, it's like, we're always wanting to know what we can do to provide more and more support to students, because that's what we're all about. And we kind of came up with an idea, well, what if we looked at the Basic Student Needs Center, because that's something that everybody could benefit from and everybody could contribute to. And we're like, well, maybe we ought to be doing that too. So my challenge, and I know everybody's already in agreement here, that every month we're going to provide support to the Student Needs Center in any way you need us to, whether that's, money, food, whatever. We did bring some things tonight, and we'll continue to do that. But in other ways too, we certainly, just let us know. So that's kind of how it came about, and my challenge is that everybody will step up to the plate and do their part.
Very good. And Trustee Rattan, did you have anything about that you wanted to add? You were partners with Trustee Jennings on this.
Well, it's funny because she was thinking of it, I was thinking of it, and we're like, let's do it. So I just love being a trustee with you, first of all. And second of all, thanks to all the trustees that are contributing. And it was an easy ask. It was a no-brainer. And so just appreciate your generosity, and I appreciate your continued generosity. And we need to think some more about this transportation, Uber gift card thing.
Yeah, I agree.
maybe
and
that's
I
where
would
we can really make a
also-
difference.
yeah. And I would also add to that is, like this evening, Marciela, is that her?
Nardicella.
Articella.
She didn't really know what trustees did. And so again, when Don and I were talking, it's like, we need to get the word out so people know people meaning students, know who we are, and that we are here to support their education. So,
All right, well, thank you, Trustee Jennings. And Robert, thank you very much for this thorough presentation.
You're welcome.
And for the passion you carry every day to let students know that, they can come in for anything and we will help them figure out how to get it, even if you don't have it. So thank you so much. Appreciate
Welcome.
it.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we are going to move to the open forum section of our meeting. I understand there is no one signed up tonight. The open forum section of the board agenda is a time for members of the community to provide comments to the board. They are allotted 5 minutes, and since no one is signed up to do it tonight, we don't have to worry about that. We're going to move on to our first board report of the evening, with Ms. Gonzalez for Mr. Oliver, I looked at the wrong name. Mr. Gonzalez for the students, and Oliver, come on up.
I hope you guys are all doing well. So I'm the Student Senate President here on campus, and starting off our report, we have 3 new senators that were recently elected and sworn in. Isaac Zeller, Maya Da Silva, and Marcus Garvey. They're all currently serving. And also we have an upcoming election after spring break, from March 23rd to March 22nd. This will be our elections for our new executive board for next school year, as well as for new senators for next school year. So it's very exciting. And then moving on to student clubs and organizations, We have 2 funding requests that are approved. Our Interior Design Student Association at JCC on campus, they're running an event or they decorate a house in the community. And then also the Student Veterans Association requested funding, and both those were approved. And then we had 2 speakers come into our General Assembly and speak to our senators. So the first one was Colleen Bryan, who came in and spoke about a Just Giving fundraising campaign, which I spoke about last Board of Trustees. It's basically a way for us to fundraise during the spring semester so that the next Senate has a better and easier time with the JCCC Gives, which is time when during the holiday season when we give to underprivileged people on campus. And then also we had Officer Robles come in from the police fund here at campus. He spoke about campus safety. One of our senators observed a purse being stolen. And so we had him come in and talk to him about campus safety. So not only our senators were educated, but so they can go and educate their fellow students or fellow colleagues as students.
Just to clarify, Oliver, they did not see the purse being stolen during the meeting.
No, it was,
I had a moment where I was like, wait, in the meeting this happened with, okay, sorry.
no, not during our student senate.
Okay.
This was outside of class.
Gotcha.
They observed it on campus in the Midwest Trust Center. And then finally, upcoming events. We have an upcoming service week on April 6th to April 10th. So we give back by giving community service. So if anyone wants to collaborate with the Student Senate, you can go and reach out to me at ogonza10@stumel.jcc.edu. And that's all. I'm now open for any questions.
All right, sounds great. Board, anybody have any questions? All right, seeing none, and on the phone, I keep forgetting to check on our people in the sky. Does anybody need to ask a question? Hearing none. Oliver, thank you. Oh, Trustee Mitchell?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. Oliver, thank you very much for your report. I guess I'm gonna inquire about the funding for decorating a house. Has piqued my interest. So tell me a little more about what you know about that.
So it was the interior design club on your campus, and so they came in and requested a funding request. I don't know too much about it.
Okay.
Just at the top of my head. I
just
could
approve-
come back next time and give you more thorough report
Okay,
on it.
well, I was just like, wow, I mean, can anybody nominate their house to be decorated and Student Senate funds it? This is fantastic. And
think they-
every month I learn something new.
Yeah. I think they choose a specific house in the community.
Very
I think
cool.
you can get your house, maybe.
That's great.
Here's the sign-up list.
Very good. Yeah, where's the sign-up list? You may have 7 new sign-ups. So, all right, thank you so much, Oliver. Appreciate your report.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, and the always uplifting, congenial college lobbyist with Mr. Carter. Good evening, Mr. Carter.
Good evening. I don't know if that introduction is appropriate for where we're at this session, but I'll let you peruse the 7 pages that I sent over for you to look at and answer questions at the end. But I want to draw your attention to a few highlights that I think are important and worth mentioning. Right now, where we're at in the process, committees are racing to get bills out of their committees onto the House or Senate floor, depending on which committee and which side of the House or Senate is hearing the bills. Friday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, so Friday tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday of next week are the last days for those committees to meet and work in their committee setting. The legislature will be on the floor, meaning the Senate and the House will meet in the committee of the whole Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week, churning through bill after bill after bill. And then the following week of March 23 is set for the conference committee process to play out. And again, that's where three members of leadership from committees sit across from each other in a room much like this and work through differences on the bills to produce what is called a conference committee report that then is voted on by the House and Senate and sent on to the governor. But the Budget Committee just had its first conference committee meeting where they did what is called a read-through. And that they didn't make any offers. They just simply read through the entire budget and the differences between the House and the Senate. Presently, we are, the community college system is ahead about $10 million in the House budget. Historically, we depend on the Senate to fix things in the legislative process, and it is that's the opposite of how things are playing out this year. So we'll continue to watch what that process looks like over the course of next week. That's when they'll really start getting to work, and it's a back and forth process that'll take a few days for them to arrive at a finished product. I really think that we'll probably end up closer to the House position. I don't see a lot of changes outside of that, though. So that's what we're looking at right now, and those numbers are contained in the report. Property tax relief conversations are really not going great at the State House. The House spent a good part of late this morning and approaching the noon hour debating the constitutional amendment that the Senate sent over to them, and it failed to advance to final action. That doesn't mean it's dead, but it's probably a pretty good idea that somebody will have to make a procedural motion tomorrow if they want to revive it. After that occurred, the Senate pulled off of its debate list for today the House version of the property tax relief. So we're really not going anywhere fast on that conversation, and that's kind of playing out like many of us thought it might, and we've kind of been seeing the writing on the wall. There's really no direction that legislators are able to focus on. There's different approaches, and it's a very difficult conversation, at least at the state level, when a lot of those decisions are made locally. So that's kind of where we're at on the property tax equation. We'll see what the next few days hold during that legislative process with regard to some kind of property tax relief conversation moving forward. We've talked a little bit about the financial impact that what we call the PBM bill, it's Senate Bill 360, the pharmacy benefit manager bill. Could have on the college. I think system-wide within the community colleges, it's about an $800,000 impact. Ours is about a quarter of that. And so that's a significant number when you're talking about legislation impacting entities across the state with regard to benefits that are offered to their employees, while at the same time having conversations about potential budget cuts and or capping property taxes. Again, that all plays into this big picture of the conversation that we have. That bill had a hearing yesterday, Wednesday. They have not worked that bill yet on the House side, so it's made it through the Senate. It's over in the House. Not sure that has a lot of chance of moving much further. So we'll, again, continue to monitor that situation as it relates to the potential impact on the college. Nothing ever dies in Topeka. I talked a little bit about earlier this year the bill that would move local elections to even-numbered years. The effect of that would make municipal elections, county elections, elections like the community college, Board of Trustees, effectively partisan, because those election years are major election years for partisan races. The bill died before turnaround in the House. Interestingly, the House chair is quoted in a news story saying that there won't be an opportunity or an attempt to amend that bill into anything later on this year, and that it would have the effect of a poison pill. Well, yesterday, Tuesday, out came a new bill. It's the same bill. It's the same bill that died. In the form of a Senate bill, and that bill number is 231. And this is that time of year where we have to start watching the bill numbers. People will call and ask about a bill number. That may or may not mean anything to us right now just because of the speed at which things move. So again, I don't think that bill goes forward. It died the first time in House without getting a vote. But again, it's important that we keep watching that as it has a potential impact here. Another interesting thing that occurred this year, the Senate blessed a few bills, which means they gave the bills life after the turnaround deadline passed. There's usually pretty firm and hard rules about how that works. There were several bills that I've been reporting that effectively died, but have come back to life. And so again, there's a process that plays out. One of those bills was the Workforce Pell Bill that we were watching. It didn't meet muster for turnaround, but was blessed a few days after the deadline, came back and was back on general orders in the Senate. This bill doesn't negatively impact the college a lot, but that is a program that we're going to be fairly involved in and maybe have the opportunity to show some leadership in the state. That bill passed the Senate 40-0. Again, it sets up a network that's really kind of already in place. We'll continue to see if that bill moves forward, but I just draw your attention to it because of the way the process worked. Yesterday morning, a new higher ed governance bill was introduced. This bill does not touch us as it sits today, but it would impact the governance of the 3 research universities. It would free up some flexibility, some regulatory boundaries that they have that prevent them from acting quickly. Quite frankly, it's probably not a lot different from what we enjoy today, the ability to move swiftly and respond to our business partners and those in the community who are seeking the workforce-trained folks that we provide. It's going to have a hard road to go. You don't introduce a bill on Tuesday, introduce it on Wednesday, hear it on Thursday, and there's only a couple of days of committee hearings left before really its first adjournment, and they may not even come back for a veto session. Kind of a big policy change. That's kind of how things are working in Topeka right now. The focus, there's not a lot of focus, and so the things that we should be looking at, or the things that people in the legislative districts are telling legislators they want, aren't necessarily the things that are being worked on in Topeka. I think that's probably a great place to stop. I'm happy to answer questions if you have them, or if I'm able, and thank you for the opportunity to advocate on your behalf in Topeka.
Good. Trustee Cross and Trustee Mitchell, if you would like to ask a question, please indicate so. Okay. For any of the trustees here present, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Carter? Yes, Trustee Jennings.
I just have one. So on the bill, the House is looking at increasing possibly 29 mil, and the Senate less, I think 19. So, and it's for the Community College and Technical College Fund. So is that funding, if they approve it, is it split evenly, or is it dependent on the size of the school?
That's a great question. So we're talking about the overall dollars in the budget that are allotted to the community college system. It's formula driven.
Is, okay.
It's formula driven, and so we receive a portion that is directly connected to not only our size, but the operation here at the college.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
It's a great question.
Any other questions for Mr. Carter? Mr. Carter, this is the time of year where the weary faces that make it out of the dome each night need to be recognized, and I want to recognize you. I appreciate how much detail you provide in your reports and how careful you are about giving us the most important and then giving us, a lot of depth and understanding in your full report. So I encourage all of our trustees to read that. This is, in my opinion, 6 years on the board, watching the legislature more closely than in other years, it has been one of the most arduous for anyone who's in Topeka, and I can see and feel the strain. President Mixa and I last night were in Topeka with KBOR and several community college members, and I think everyone feels that. So I appreciate what you do for us. I appreciate how much you communicate and make sure that we're informed. Thank you very much.
We have a great team here with which we get to work.
Yeah. Well, that's the highlight we can take from these days that seem ever long. So thank you very much for your report. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to move to our shared governance report with Ms. Cunningham.
you very much. My name is Jamie Cunningham. I am the chair of the Academic Branch Council, and I'm here to talk about the shared governance councils. So College Council met yesterday for our March meeting. We welcome Trustee Carroll to our group. After the initial sort of reports from our various constituents, our main discussion was about the funds that are for shared governance. We had some discussions about who can apply for those funds, how is that done, who makes those decisions, and what that process would look like. So that's an ongoing discussion that we'll continue to have and kind of figure out how that looks. This coming month, we're going to be looking at bylaws, making sure those make sense for how things have been running and what we need shared governance to do for our April meeting. Staff Council reported that they have a new initiative to help encourage cross-campus engagement. And they had their first coffee with Staff Council on March 3rd in collaboration with the police department. They had over 50 staff members attend, and they thought that was a great way to get that sort of across campus engagement and also learn a little bit more about how the police department works. They have been having continued conversations with College Council as well as with Cabinet on closures of the college. So there's been some confusion during sometimes weather closures, which areas of campus might be open for different things, as well as the college calendar versus the academic calendar. So we have an academic calendar committee that determines when classes are in session and when they are not. But sometimes services like the library, the tutors, the resource centers need to be open after Thanksgiving break, even though there's no classes on campus. So they've been talking about where the decision's made about where there should be employees for the students, even when there are not classes on campus. And they continue to work through topics that come through their request form, and they're working on actively engaging various parts of campus to make headway on those. Which brings us to ABC, which is the area that I'm from. We've met 4 times since I was here last December and spoke to you. We've had multiple discussions, some of the biggest ones being looking at the role of faculty and the departments, the academic departments in the partnerships that we have with the high schools and like the dual enrollment in College Now. So there's a lot of faculty that don't know a lot about how that works, because usually there's a liaison that's working directly with the high school, and then a lot of that work is done through the College Now department. So we had College Now employees at several of our meetings sort of trying to explain some of the changes that have occurred. We've had questions come in about how that works. There's been a few changes to how the liaison position looks, and so trying to make sure everybody is clear on that. The Academic Branch Council is currently running a survey on shared governance. So we have a subcommittee of ABC members comprised of faculty and deans. We've reached out to our sociology department here on campus, who do a lot of work with surveys, and our IRB specialists. They put together a survey. It went out to all full-time faculty, adjunct faculty, deans, and program directors at the beginning of this month. We want to assess how well the academic branch members believe that collaborative input is being put into the decision-making process at JCCC. This survey asks for feedback about specific shared governance bodies, and more pointedly about how shared governance practice is being practiced in matters like hiring committees, College Now programs, program review, and all sorts of things like that. The survey starts from the premise that the academic branch is a unique collective role of the college to provide excellent instruction, and the survey is designed to measure how well the academic branch members' expertise is being valued in achieving that mission. So it will be open through the end of March, and then the subcommittee that designed the survey. We'll go through all of the comments and the data that come in and summarize that for our ABC meetings at the end of April. And finally, we have nominations for ABC leadership. We're in the point of the semester where we need to start thinking about who is going to be standing here in front of you guys next fall. So we have nominations open for the chair and vice chair positions of ABC, and voting will probably take place a little bit later this month so that the departments know who is going to be serving in these positions before the faculty begin choosing committees for the fall in April. All right, we went through a lot fast. Let me know what questions you have.
All right, are there any questions for Ms. Cunningham? Yeah, Trustee Rattan.
Thank you for sharing the clarity on how the College Now process works, because in some ways, the faculty is like an end user or customer of it as well on both ends. And for the ABC survey, are you getting good participation levels? Do you feel like you're getting a significant sample?
I have not checked how many surveys have come in recently. We only had like about 200 surveys in the last time I checked, and we'd love to get more there, but it's one of those things that's hard to get people to take surveys.
That's what I was thinking of, but it's good information that you're
Right.
asking.
We would like to have as much information as possible. We'll probably send out a few more emails that say, hey, fill this out and I can stop sending you these emails.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Ms. Cunningham? All right. I was actually going to ask a very similar question in terms of your participation. We've talked about surveys here on the board for several years and how critically important it is, especially at our level, to be able to, get great information from that. But that really depends on how many people participate. So did you all, do you have a goal of how many staff you want participating in that?
I think our goal was that we wanted to get between 300 and 400, and at 400, our vice chair, who is the head of the subcommittee, has promised to dye his hair green.
Yes, I was going to say, are there any challenges?
So we're still working towards that.
Maybe lead in the email with that, and then you'll get higher participation, so people are encouraged to participate. Well, thank you very much for your report. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening. All right, we're going to move on to the Faculty Association with Ms. Oliveras. Good evening.
Hello, everyone. I will be brief this evening. So I just want to share some recent news. I'll start off with Dr. Dennis Arjo, which some of you might know him. He's a former FA president and professor of philosophy and religion. He recently published an essay in Inside Higher Ed titled The Rawlsian Argument for Institutional Neutrality. And it's a very interesting read. It's a short read. It speaks about the tough circumstances that college leadership faces in the current national climate. So very pertinent read, I think, for you all as board members. In other news, in February, Dr. Brian Wright, professor of political science, traveled with 12 students to St. Louis to attend the Midwest Model United Nations Conference. The students competed in delegations, committee groups, and presented position papers, and they earned 11 awards throughout the entire event. These students are not only academically talented, but also all around great individuals. I learned from Dr. Brian Wright that at the conference, there was a staff member who suffered a medical emergency, and the president of the Model UN Club, Max Pacheco, quickly stepped in to help the person until medical support arrived. And I learned from JCCC Sergeant Aaron Swift in that email that Max Pacheco, in his words, truly reflected the values of JCCC students in responding to that event. Last week, Trustee Jennings and Holton heard from students in the STEM Scholars Program, so I know you have a lot to share there, but I want to share a little bit as well. So this program is part of the NSF grant led by Professor Beth Edmonds, a professor of math, and Sunitha Menon, director of the Science Resource Center. What I want to highlight about this presentation is that the students talked about how much they benefited from taking an honors research seminar class. And I know Charlie mentioned about being an honor student and all the great opportunities and gentle nudging that the honors faculty and advisors provide for them. One of the things I learned from their experience was they said they didn't realize how important time management is, or arriving early to class or on time to class is. I'm like, oh, yes, that's very important. Ann Daughter is the director of the honors program. And during the meeting, Dr. McLeod mentioned that Dr. Daughter has done a great job building up the honors program. Before Dr. Daughter came on board, there were about 37 honor students. And I think, Dr. McLeod, you said there were about 125. I checked in, there's now 140, so it keeps on growing. In addition to highlighting the honors research seminar, the STEM scholars also mentioned how important it was for them to have the support of the counselor, Casey Buchanan. Casey works directly with this group, supports this group. And you might remember Casey, he was here at the December board meeting when you all had 2 executive sessions and went really late. So he was here. Casey has been at the college for more than 2 decades, and students, as we heard and you all heard, benefit greatly from his experience. And I know I'm a broken record when it relates to praising the counselor, so I'm very glad that students got to do that for me last week. So that's all for my report this evening. I'll take any questions if there are any.
Any questions for Ms. Oliveras? Trustee Rattan?
I just love to send a card or something to Max Pacheco for saving a life. In addition to getting 11 awards for Model UN, so I'm not sure if Liz or Caitlin or someone can help us do that and send it out.
We have some stationery that we can use. We have some cards. Okay.
Any other questions from Ms. Oliveras?
I was just saying, I've done a tour of the new Honors Center with Professor Daughter, and I forgot all the other professors, but I love what they do, the wraparound services, the welcoming environment, and it's showing in the way that the populations of honor students is growing. So thank you.
That on to her.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would just say that I really, I would echo Trustee Rattan's sentiments that the honors has been a really great thing to watch. I think its inception was right when I got here, or it was very, very small at the point when I came 6 years ago, and to watch its growth and success and our students really being able to tell the story of how much that program has made the difference, which I know is because that faculty works very hard to advertise and promote and support those students, which is great. I wonder, do you type up all those great names you mentioned that I cannot ever possibly write fast enough and send them? Is that possible? All the professors you highlight, like the articles, I just can never capture it fast enough, but I don't see it in my report. So I wondered if it was something you actually type up, or do you just kind of have a running set of notes for yourself?
Yeah, Caitlin should have all of my reports.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't have it tonight, and so I wasn't sure, because sometimes I've seen it and sometimes I haven't, and I really appreciate, especially knowing when our professors are out and about doing other things. I just couldn't find it. Yeah, it's in here. I just can't find it. It's a me problem, not a you problem. So thank you, because I always like to go back and read some of the things that you highlight. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you very much for your report.
I'm going to ask a very similar question. Is some of that information in either InfoHub or the faculty newsletter that comes out every week?
The comment about Max Pacheco,
No, about the professor that wrote the article.
yeah, the Faculty Association Facebook page tends to highlight whenever there's a faculty member, and I know whoever puts together the trustee newsletter tends to put JCCC in the news bulleted items there, so it might
Show up in there
yeah.
too. Okay.
Love to read that article.
Yeah, same.
You know, her report is out there in the shared drive. You have access to it, so we can make sure you know where it's at, so. Right, because when you submit it.
I'm not certain it's in share.
We'll make sure we find it for you, so it's out there.
We'll get it to everyone so we can read all the things. Thank you very much for your report. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on to Trustee Rattan with the JCERT report.
All right. JCERT received $2,645,241.16 in sales tax in February of 2026, and it distributed $882,000 to each of the 3 university entities. We continue to see an increase in revenues at around $100,000 more each month over last year this time. Transfers to the university entities were made on March the 4th of 2026. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Trustee Rattan. Any questions for Trustee Rattan on the JCERT report? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the I did exactly what Trustee Rail used to do. I'm not doing it. Trustee Cross, are you there to provide your KACC report? Trustee Cross.
One of them has hung up.
Okay.
I don't know which one.
All right, well, I think that means we do not have a report from the Kansas Association of Community Colleges tonight. We're going to proceed to the foundation report with Trustee Jennings.
Madam Chair, this is always a fun report to give. So we've got a lot of fun things coming up. So the JCCC Foundation has collaborated with the Fashion Design and Merchandising Department on their final draft fashion runway show, and we are happy to report that the event is sold out. I think it sells out every year. This year, we are also offering a live streaming option for a discounted price, so that will be nice if you never are able to actually get to that evening. Exciting news for the Harvest Dinner on Friday, August 21st. The foundation will host the annual Harvest Dinner with visiting chefs from the Leawood Restaurant Rye. Chef Colby Geraltz won the 2013 James Beard Award for the Best Chef Midwest and was 2005 Food and Wine to 10 Best New Chef. Stay tuned for tickets to become available because they go fast also. On April 30th, JCCC Foundation is partnering with the STEM Poster Symposium team to raise funds for the students selected as winners. Ash Grove Foundation is the title sponsor and is funding $10,000 for student scholarships. Spring Foundation Community Social is going to be March 31st from 4 to 6 in the Hugh Libby Building. If you haven't already, please RSVP for the event. This event is a great way to bring community members to campus so they can learn more about our programs and the impacts that scholarships have on our students. Our scholarship lunch is Tuesday, April 21st from 11:30 to 1 in the Cap Fed Room, Rainier Center. End-of-year foundation lunch will be Wednesday, May 13th from 11:30 to 1, again in the Cap Fed Room, Rainier Center. Summer Sips and Scholarships will be Wednesday, June 17th from 4 to 6. It will not be the same day as the board meeting.
Good.
So thank you, Joy. And it'll be in the Wiley Hospitality and Culinary Academy. The co-chairs, Christy Stewart and Christy Hiller. And new Hawthorne Bank has agreed to underwrite the event for the second year in a row, which means 100% of the funds that are raised by attendees will support student scholarships. We hope to raise $30,000 to fund 30 students. And lastly, Some Enchanted Evening 2026 will, the adult prom, is that what we're calling it? Will be November 14th, 2026. Co-chairs will be Dr. Tony and Deb Mixka. And it's the 40th anniversary of the event, so a 40-40-40. The event committee met for the first time last week, and they are off and running to make this one of our best events, make this the best event yet. The income goal for the event this year is 1.4 mil. More details will be coming soon. And that concludes my report.
Very good. Any questions for Trustee Jennings in the foundation report? Lots of dates in that report. Put them in your calendar now because
That's right.
the way things fill up
back
fast.
through 'em
those
if you
are-
need me to.
Those are always the fun ones. Great food, great company, Always a good time with foundation events. All right, that takes us to our committee reports and recommendations. And I have listed that it was Trustee Cross, but I believe he's now off the call. And so Trustee Holton, are you ready and prepared
Absolutely.
for your first Management and Finance Committee report?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Management and Finance Committee held their meeting at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, March 4th. The information related to the meeting can be found on pages 1 through 15 of the board packet. Management and Finance Committee received the following report from the staff. Grants, leadership, and development activities. Melinda Bryan Smith, do I need to talk about all these?
Yes.
Melinda
you do.
Bryan Smith, Executive Director, Grants Leadership and Development, and Anthony Finari, Senior Grant Professional, reported on grant activities. Their presentation included financial results from the past 5 years, grant planning, preparation, and post-award services, and communication and compliance processes. They reviewed how grants support scholarships, student support services, community outreach, professional development, program and curriculum development, and equipment and facilities, and highlighted several specific awards recently received. Other agreements. Rachel Lears, Executive Vice President for Finance and Administrative Services, presented agreements with Workforce Partnership and One Gas, Inc. Details can be found on page 41 in the consent agenda portion of the March 12, 2026 board packet. Capital Acquisitions and Improvements Progress Report. Tom Hall, Associate Vice President, Campus Services and Facility Planning, provided the committee with information on facilities projects from the Capital Acquisitions and Improvements Matrix. The Management and Finance Committee has the following recommendations to present this evening. Megan Casey, Vice President, CFO, presented a recommendation to renew the college's capital outlay tax levy. She said the college's current capital outlay levy in the amount of $0.5 million is scheduled to expire on June 30th, 2026. The administration recommends that the current tax levy should be renewed for a period of 5 years, beginning on July 1, 2026, to provide funds for deferred maintenance and capital projects. Recommendation. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to adopt a resolution authorizing that the current capital outlay tax levy of $0.5 million shall be renewed for a period of 5 years, beginning on July 1, 2026.
Hey, are you making that motion?
I so move.
Very good.
Second.
And all right, made by Trustee Holton, seconded by Trustee Rattan. Do we have any discussion on this first motion on the capital outlay mill? Okay, well, I'm going to have some discussion because I think it's really important that we always are clear with the public and transparent whenever we're spending their money. So this is a regular, ongoing tax levy that we have done many, many times. It's just up for its 5-year renewal. Is that right, Ms. Lears? Like this is, and we are not raising it. We are keeping it consistent with the last one. Is that right? Or have we maxed out what we are able to use on this mill levy?
Our recommendation is to leave the levy rate flat at $0.5 million. The amount of tax revenue that we collect is based on the assessed valuation.
Right, as with our other ones. So, but we are not raising our
Correct. We're
share of
recommending
it.
to stay at $0.5 million.
Right.
Yes.
The reason I think that's really important is that many of our public school systems right now are talking about their budgets and their funding because of everything that's going on in the legislature. And it's important to know that we are just staying consistent, and this is not part of our larger 10-year building facilities plan that we've been kind of talking about and advertising on campus. This is just for our basic maintenance that we draw several things from it when I was reading, but it's not like we're using this to do any big project at this time. Is that right?
Most of it is for our recurring annual maintenance. We might use some of these funds to support some of our facility master plan projects that relate to infrastructure, like specifically some things we have planned in the Commons building starting next year. We may fund some of that through our capital outlay tax levy as
It
well.
won't be probably the majority
Correct.
of the,
Yeah.
yeah, it would just be a, okay. I just want to provide that clarity. I think it's always important with the public that we're clear on how we're using their dollars and how much we appreciate that. So with that, we have a nomination and a second. I think we're ready to vote unless Trustee Mitchell has any more comments on discussion. Trustee Mitchell, are you still on the line?
I am on the line. I have no comments, and
Okay.
I'm going to be a yay vote on this.
All right, I was going to say, can you stay off, unmuted, and we'll go ahead and proceed with the vote. So all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes.
All right, I heard 6 in favor, no opposed. The motion carries. All right, Trustee Holton, please proceed with your report.
Okay, review and update policies. Rachel Lears, Executive Vice President, Finance and Administrative Services, reviewed the recommended modifications to the Tobacco and Smoke-Free Campus Policy 428.01, Data Classification Policy 530, and Parking and Personal Transportation Policy 640. Recommendations, since the recommended modifications are minor, I'd like to make a motion that we consider all 3 policies in one single motion.
All right, are you making that motion?
I am.
All right, made by Trustee Holton, second. Second by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion on bundling? Okay, we're going to move forward with voting to, at this point, we're just voting to consider all 3 of these in one motion. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Go ahead.
Recommendation is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve modifications to the Tobacco and Smoke-Free Campus Policy 428.01, Data Classification Policy 530, and Parking and Personal Transportation Policy 640, as shown subsequently in the board packet. And I so move.
All right, very good. Motion made by Trustee Holton. Any second? Seconded by Trustee Carroll. Any discussion on the advancement of these 3 policies or the revisions to them? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed with the vote. So all in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries 6-0. Trustee Holton, please proceed.
Procurement reports and recommendations. Megan Casey, Vice President, CFO, presented recommendations for 1 bid and award, 1 cooperative bid, and 2 contract spend increases. Employee Benefits Consulting. Recommendation is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the proposal from Holmes Murphy for a base year of $70,515.
All right.
Yep.
Are you making that motion?
I so move.
All right, very good. Motion made by Trustee Holton. Do I have a second? Seconded by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion? This is for the approval of the Holmes Murphy for employee benefits. Thank you.
Yep.
Hearing no discussion, I will proceed. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, hearing none, the motion carries 6-0. Please proceed.
HVAC products, installation, and services. Recommendation is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Train for a total expenditure of $472,884 for fiscal year '26. And I so move.
Thank you. Motion made by Trustee Holton,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carroll. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I am going to bring up discussion on this. Can we just have clarification? This is a rather large purchase. I know that our chiller is always a big we talk about that thing a lot because it affects a lot of things. Can you just clarify what the large cost? Is it just the replacement of it?
Yes, this is a replacement unit. This has been on a cooperative agreement, so it's already been publicly vetted.
Yeah.
This is one that's being funded through our capital outlay fund, the funding source that we just talked about. This particular piece of equipment's located in our east chiller plant, and it is compatible and consistent with the other Train systems that we have currently in
How
place.
old is this one that we're replacing? Do we know?
Don't know.
Sorry, is Tom here?
Looking at Tom.
Can you just recall it on the spot?
Yeah, this is actually, we don't have one on this chiller, and so this is a new purchase for that.
Gotcha.
But it gives us the redundancy, so if the other chiller goes down, we can continue to run the plant and still provide cooling.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
What is the lifespan of a chiller?
It's what?
What is a typical lifespan? How long do we expect to have this in operation?
The chiller itself is about probably 20 to 30 years, depending on the type of chiller.
Any other questions? All right, we'll proceed with the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, Hearing none, motion carries 6-0. Please proceed.
On-call electrical services. Recommendation is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve an additional $150,000 for a total fiscal year 26 amount of $400,000.
Okay.
I so move.
Thank you. Motion made by trustee Holden, second. Trustee Carroll with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries 6-0. Please proceed with your very last recommendation of the evening.
On-call plumbing services. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve an additional $350,000 for a total fiscal year 26 amount of $550,000. And I so move.
All right, very good. Motion made by trustee Holden, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Jennings. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
All right, very good. You did it.
Hey.
Way to go. All right. First management report. They're always a beast. Appreciate you filling in for trustee Cross. All right, with that, we're going to go to the Student Success Committee. Not quite as long, but you're giving us a run for our money with this one too. So trustee Jennings, please proceed with your Student Success Committee report.
It won't be as long, I promise.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Student Success Committee met at 9:45 a.m. on Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. The Student Success Committee presented modifications to several policies as shown in the board packet. And since there are several policies before us tonight, I move that the Board of Trustees consider the policies in one motion.
Going to make that motion?
So move.
All right, trustee Jennings with the motion to put these all together in one motion. Do I have a second? Second. Trustee Rattan with the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, can I hear a yes for all in favor?
Yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries 6-0. All right, please proceed.
It is the recommendation of the Student Success Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve modifications to the Transfer Credit Policy 314.02, the Advanced Standing Credit Policy 314.03, the Honors Policy 314.05, the Academic Standing Policy 314.06, and the Continuing Education Units Policy 314.09, all as shown in the board packet. I making a motion.
Okay. Motion made by trustee Jennings. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that trustee Carroll? Yes. All right, thank you. Second made by trustee Carroll. All right, any discussion on these policies? Hearing none. All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Please proceed with the rest of your report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Elisa Waldman, Vice President, Workforce Development and Continuing Education, or WDCE, presented the annual update on the division. She explained that WDCE is comprised of 12 unique program areas for workforce and community and serves individuals and businesses. Workforce training offers certifications, licensure classes, and continuing education. WDCE and the Johnson County Community College Foundation partnered with the Johnson County Department of Corrections and N-Circle to teach life skills and trade skills to individuals who are in corrections programs and will soon be integrated back into the community. Ms. Waldman shared that Johnson County Adult Education, or JCAE, has classes for the English language learner, adult basic education, and GED preparation. Accelerating Opportunities, Kansas, and Integrated English Literacy Civics Education. In July 2026, Workforce Pell Grants may be available for tuition assistance. WDCE also offers community classes in life and leisure that include cooking, creative workshops, and health and wellness workshops. In addition, Beth Edmonds, Professor of Mathematics, and Sunitha Menon, Associate Professor, Director of the Science Resource Center, provided information on the STEM Scholars Program. They provided history on the project and noted that JCCC was the first community college that granted funds from the National Science Foundation for this type of project. Some unique aspects of the Johnson County Community College STEM Scholars Program include intentional recruitment of students, services scaffolding, mentor pairing, and individual student research projects. The STEM Scholars students are required to spend at least 54 hours in the tutoring centers, attend twice monthly cohort meetings, and meet with a counselor to map out each semester. In other words, they get a lot of wonderful support. The current grant is from 2022 through 2028, and improvements implemented will include individualized transfer-oriented activities, creation of a new course, which is Introductions to Research Methods, increased focus on student mental wellness, and strengthening relationships with university partners, those being UMKC, KU, and KSU. The professors acknowledged all the departments on campus that helped make the STEM Scholars Program a success, especially the grants office. 3 students, Jasmine, Zoe, and Becca, shared their experience as scholars and their trip to the STEM Scholars meeting in San Diego. The students thanked Professors Beth Edmonds and Sunitha Menon and Judy Ostrom for their support and guidance. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
All right, very good. Any questions for Trustee Jennings? That was a great report. Those are 2 programs that are near and dear to my heart. I was, as I've said many times on this dais, an employee first. I worked in the JCAE division and did the adult ESL, and it was a wonderful step into really understanding how important we are in our community and how much we do, and it's an incredible program. And the STEM scholars are always such a highlight every year. They just do a tremendous amount, and I feel like every year we're all just blown away by all the things that they do for our students and that our students do because of that program.
I agree.
So, yeah. It's really lovely. So thank you for your report. We are going to move on with the treasurer's report. I will be giving the treasurer's report tonight in the absence of some of our other trustees. So the board packet includes the treasurer's report for the month ended January 31st, 2026. Some items of note include, it says page 1, but I think in our packet it's going to be page 30. The general post-secondary technical education funds, which are the primary operating funds of the college. The state aid payments of $12,755,304 were received and recorded as follows. As you can see, general fund, $8 million, post-secondary, $4 million, for a total of $12,755,304. An ad valorem tax distribution of $70,467,830 was received from the county treasurer and was distributed as seen in your packet. Expenditures of the primary operating funds are within the approved budgetary limits. With that, I will bring forth the recommendation of the college administration that the Board of Trustees approve the trustees' report for the month ended January 2026, subject to audit. And do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yep. Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 6-0. All right, with that, we are going to move to the fabulous Dr. Mixa for your president's report to the board, please.
That's a big buildup. Hopefully I can make it
Next
work.
time there's going to be a spotlight,
Well,
and there's going to be
like in the
music.
like in Beetlejuice at the wedding scene. Where
That's right.
And so-
I mean, if that's what you need, then we'll figure it out.
Okay, I'll just start. You have enrollment at your desk or at the diocese, at your area. Our enrollment basically on the credit side of the house is trending pretty even. We're down just a few students on both on the credit side of the house, credit number of students and also credit hours, but nothing I think to be alarming. On the non-credit side of the house, we've hit about 70% towards our goal of 17,465 students. So we've hit about 12,194 students at this point in time. So again, feel like we are on track for where we need to be in both of those areas as well too. So we're happy with that at this point in time. In terms of some other stuff that's going on, and I think a lot of people know this right now, but I think it's definitely worth saying. We really tried to push this one out for everybody, but JCC made history as the only college basketball program, both 2- and 4-year program, to ever have both men's and women's basketball teams being undefeated in the regular season. So that was a really great feat. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a big cheer. Our women, did go on to win the JCCC Division II award. They won the 2 games in the conference. Our men did lose in the first round of that, but that is okay. The women, of course, are on to their national tournament. The men got an at-large bid, so they're on to the national tournament as well. And I think it starts next week is when it gets rolling, so we're excited about that. We did have some awards that we got for basketball, so I think it's worth throwing those out. On the women's basketball side, Layla Scott, she won the MVP of the conference. Maya Adams was the Freshman of the Year within the conference, and Coach Ben Conrad was the Coach of the Year. On the men's side, Tavian Cruz was the MVP, Aiden Wing was the Newcomer of the Year, and then Rand Chappell was also the Coach of the Year, so we're really excited about that. I think something that was really exciting that I read or that came up that, of course, my time, I've only been here for 8 months, but this season was the women's 3rd straight undefeated regular season. So if you want to talk about dominance, that's really amazing. So hopefully they'll make it to that national tournament. I've been wanting to work at a school that wins a national tournament forever. That's why I made the move.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
I'm just kidding. And this was the men's first regular undefeated season in program history. Not to be outdone, our marketing team won 3 awards at the 41st Annual Education Advisory Awards, the largest educational advertising awards competition in the country. So this might be interesting to you, Trustee Holton. They competed against over 2,000 entries from over 1,004 and 2-year colleges and universities from all 50 states and numerous foreign countries. We got a gold in the for our LinkedIn content strategy, Perspectives from the President series. We got a silver on the Instagram video content from boardroom to campus chauffeur. President Mixa does it all. I was going to read it. I feel, I don't want to overdo it. And then we also got merit digital video ad over 2 minutes for exploring healthcare, public safety, and wellness at JCCC. So that was great work that they've done there. We recently hosted the League of Innovation Spring Board meeting, and we had Trustee Rattan and Trustee Holton were at that meeting. Trustee Rattan did a great job with your presentation there. About 25 attendees from other league schools, which included campus tours and a show at the Midwest Trust Center, so that was wonderful. We got to take them and really show off our campus as well, too. We talked about a variety of topics. One of those topics was AI that we had, so we did a lot of work there. The college presidents, I know, we spent about 2 hours having a discussion around that, and I think one of the things that was interesting to hear is how I don't know if any school is really ahead with AI or behind with AI, because I think every school is kind of going at it in a variety of different ways and using it because it's kind of such a unique technology, I think. One of the things I know, and I've talked to the trustees about this, but I think it's just really important to put out of Dr. McLeod's office. We've created some guidelines, and the faculty have worked together to kind of bring those guidelines to fruition. I know that there's going to be some open forum around those to talk about those even more. We have an open space or an open lab idea where people can try new technology and bring that to the forefront. We're working on building a lab there as a space that we can use to have that so that our faculty can adopt technology and students can use that as well too. I don't know, Mickey, is there anything else you want to talk about AI that you want to throw out there?
No, I think right now, as we've worked through some things, Rob was showing us that his folks have created a little bit of a dashboard so we can see
that's right.
Spikes in use on campus and which tools are being most used so that we understand kind of what our students and staff are kind of engaged in right now as we continue to kind of feel out this new space.
And I know I think early April, I'm going to have 10 faculty. I was calling it a lunch with faculty, but Trustee Rattan said a chat and chew. I said, that sounds a lot more fun, right, with a chat and chew. And we might also try to get some students to do that as well, too. My goal is just to hear people's stories around AI, because that seems to be a lot of it about what it is what's your story, how are you using it, other different areas. And I know that on the business side of the house, we'll begin to use it more and more as we integrate our CRM and really kind of engage with that as well, too. So it'll be really exciting that way. The Nerman Museum hosted a lowrider bike pop-up and scholarship award recipient on Thursday, March 5th. This pop-up featured lowrider bikes created by students from the Olathe Leadership Lowrider Bike Club. The Nerman Museum of Contemporary Art awarded prizes and JCC scholarships to 3 high school seniors and 3 underclass students from the Olathe Leadership Lowrider Bike Club that demonstrated exceptional commitment to arts and their education. And I think Dr. McLeod and I are going to try to get over to the workshop and, maybe we can hit a bead on a bike and see, do a little work or whatever there. So I think that was kind of cool. We mentioned in the foundation report that Some Enchanted Evening, the first meeting kicked off. We got a lot of ideas. They're going to kind of rein me in. I want to do some things, but you can only do so much. We don't want to get
fireworks from
whoa,
the
whoa,
top.
no,
of
no.
the
I hope Deb's not listening because she told me I could never repeat that again. But we'll have a lot of fun there. But look forward to it. Make sure it's on your calendar. The JCC Police are preparing for World Cup in participation with the Lenexa Police Department, Kansas City Police Department, and the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. They hosted a FIFA World Cup presentation for local municipalities Tuesday, March 3rd on our campus, so we're excited and we're involved in that. World Cup craziness is going to be coming really soon. Some of you are at this as well, too. On March 3rd, we invited local healthcare partners, and a big part of that was our advisory committees to come on campus to see JCC Future of Healthcare Education and give them a first look into the planned Center of Excellence for Science and Health Care. I don't know if I want to put you on the spot, but is there anything you want to talk about in the architecture or anything we're doing at this point in time, Rachel?
Yeah, we've had one, I think, terrific meeting with our selected architecture firm, PGAV. We met with Chad Sanner, the dean of the healthcare programs, and several of his faculty to get that process started. And we're looking forward to another meeting at the end of this month and just kind of looking to get a lot of input and as we can move through this phase of the process. So, yeah, moving along.
I don't know if Chair Smith-Everett or Vice Chair Rattan, if you guys would want to talk about anything from the meeting that we had there.
I think it's important to have buy-in and support, and I think that this was the first of, I think you indicated more of these meetings. When you have the community behind it, let's be honest, this is going to cost some money. People will see it going up. You'll get questions about what's going on. When you bring in those supporters early, I think that they'll spread our message of what we want to do, how we want to be on the forefront of healthcare. And I think they also appreciate being brought in earlier versus later.
Yeah, I would just say that was really my big takeaway from that is they appreciated being part of that early discussion. I have said, and I will say again here at the dais, it's okay to dream big at this stage. It's okay to want all the things or to say what all the things are. When we get down to money, we're going to have to make choices, and I think that's going to be really critical. I think when we get to that stage, what we've got to think about is what's best for, what we can sustain here at the college, but also what our community really needs. There were several participants who communicated things I hadn't even thought of. I mean, I keep thinking about the radiography. I always think radiology, but it's the radiographer that does it. But that's very costly because of all the equipment you have to train on. So the choices we'll have to make in the future, we'll get there and we'll do that when that time comes. But for right now, I think it's really capturing that synergy between what our faculty and staff and dean is dreaming and what our community is saying we need in the next 10 to 20 years, because it is, as someone said at that meeting, that what we do now affects where we are 20 years from now. And if you think about where we were 20 years ago, we couldn't even dream some of the needs we have now. So being really bold with that is great, and I really encourage that. So I'm excited, as I know many trustees are, about where we go with this first initial step.
Right. Great. It's great to be excited. It was, I really enjoyed the meeting. I appreciate everybody's contributions to that. And then I'll just end with one last thing. I got to visit Dr. Humphrey's journalism class, and they asked me to come in because they wanted to set up a press conference, sort of like a press conference. They said, do I want to know the questions in advance or do I want to come in cold? I said, you know what do the students want? They wanted me to come in cold. They were really well prepared and they threw out a ton of great questions. I don't know how the articles will be in the messenger when they come up, but it was a lot of fun and it was a great class. So big hats off to him and the students in the class. So I really appreciate it. And that's my report.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Trustee Mixa? He gave us a lot, so there's a lot. Yes, so we'll start with you, Trustee Holden.
I do have a question. The awards you were talking about, the marketing and advertising stuff, that's not in, is that a separate report from this president's report that I have here? Did you add that later?
We can get you some more information on that if you'd like me to.
Well, I
but
just
that
wanted
was
to see, I didn't see them in here as far as.
Yeah, they wouldn't be in there. It was just my, that was just
Okay, I would like to just see.
Sure.
What I didn't take all of it in, but you mentioned a bunch of them, but I'd like to know what that was.
We can do that. We can have Chris send that your way, so.
Any other questions for Trustee, or Dr. Mixa? Yes, Trustee Rattan.
Well, I know we're all thinking it, so I'll say it out loud, that it's not a coincidence that both our men's and women's went undefeated, and our president is a former college ball player. I know you're being humble, but just saying. I'd also like to say, it gives me great joy to hear when we go to these national competitions in so many areas, and we compete along the four-year schools. I mean, that's the basketball, we're the only ones undefeated from 2 and 4. But when you talk about our debate, our Model UN, leadership conferences, our school competes, and that just makes me really happy. And I hope that those students feel that sense of pride and never feel like second class because they're a second-year school. And yes, thanks for inviting us to the League of Innovation. So many of those leaders of the community colleges expressed how much they love JCCC. We hear it, and it's nice to hear it directly. They love coming to the campus, and I think the most controversial thing is where you decide to take them for barbecue. That always starts an argument. And then thanks for leading the discussions in AI. We're all talking about it. We're all trying to figure out. I even heard of a new one today called Perplexity. So thanks for starting those conversations, continuing those conversations, and including stakeholders in those. And then for the lowriders, there is a Lowriders for Success group in Kansas City, Kansas, and it's targeting students that it's an incentive for them to do well in school, to show up in school, and some of those are more disadvantaged kids. So if you can look at the Lowriders to Success group in Kansas City, Kansas next time. And also for safety for the World Cup, I just feel like we're all underestimating how crazy things are going to be. So again, thanks to the police for starting those conversations and continue those conversations and bringing in everyone so that we can keep our campus and our community safe.
All right, yeah,
did have
Trustee
another
Holden,
question.
sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I attended the high school science Olympiad also, and my question was, is that an outreach thing that we do to high schools to say, hey, come to our place, or is it just like we're renting out space?
So we have a couple of faculty members who actually host that as a hosted event. Some of it is paid for through National Science Foundation and some folks, but we do it as a service to the community. While we have people here to talk to students, it is not necessarily a recruiting event. That is not how it started. It started as us being a convener and providing a service to the community so that we could house some of these events where we couldn't do it at our high schools.
Okay. I was just curious, because I didn't see anything that we were showcasing while I was here. Not that I'm saying we should, but I was just curious.
Any other questions for Dr. Mixa?
I just threw out, Caitlin just texted, and she said she'll send those reports about the awards. Yeah, so get those out.
Well, I have several things. Thank you for that really thorough report. Number one, basketball being the most important. I don't know, I mean, you've only been here 8 months, but do you realize that we are like the beginning important chapter of March Madness, right here
Yes,
in this
yes.
area. And so
I know, it's pretty
us
exciting.
being able to carry those championships is amazing. And I would request that we bring, at the very least, the coaches and captains for the next
Sure.
meeting, whenever they return to campus, so that we can celebrate them before the semester ends.
Right. We were talking about bringing them to this one, but we thought, well, they're getting ready for the national
Yeah,
tournament. We
let's
didn't wanna
let
jinx
them,
so-
I feel like the time with us is not going to be as helpful as the
Right.
time out practicing. So that's my request. And then I just want to clarify, the Instagram video of you driving a golf cart around campus where it at a certain point in time ran into a tree, got an award. Is that?
I didn't hear about the tree.
Do I have that right?
Right, you have that right. And nobody
okay.
was supposed to see that, but apparently they put that out there.
Yeah, well, I know I viewed it a couple times and then inquired about our insurance policy. So, glad to know that we're using that to win awards out there.
Right.
For everybody who doesn't follow you, here's your chance.
Well, you notice they made me
you wanna
walk
be-
around with a microphone in
The
spring,
next
right?
time, the immediate next event, you were getting, the wheels were taken away. I definitely knew that. On the lowrider, I thank you, Trustee Rattan, for highlighting another lowrider. I know there's like 3 in the Kansas City region. And just a small world note, and so I will go back to school tomorrow. The wife of the gentleman who started the Olathe Lowrider program, I work with her.
wonderful.
They're an incredible family, and they do so many wonderful things to uplift particularly Latino kids and boys, because that was something that in his childhood he really needed, and their family works really hard to make sure that kids are supported in that. So I loved seeing the pictures and videos on that going on at our fabulous museum. And then finally, I asked this several months ago. I don't remember if you were here yet, but about the World Cup. Are we doing anything to get our students, particularly our international students, engaged with any of our community partners that are doing World Cup? I just think about, they have the language, they have the cultural references for both here and the countries coming in, and I wondered if we are finding ways to get them to be, utilized during
We
that.
haven't had any major discussions around that at this time. And one of the challenges is it's the summer, it's the
Yeah.
downtime a little bit.
Yeah.
So we certainly can talk about that a little bit and see what we can kind of come back
I
with.
just think, our international students and many other students that are here, but have really great skills like language and cultural skills. This is a great time to advertise Kansas City area.
Right.
And even more importantly, advertise Johnson County Community College. May we get some other students who wouldn't even know about us to consider us because their family happened to come to a game here in Kansas City. So I would just like to make that plug.
Yeah, I'll tell, I think we really looked at it from the I want to say the business point of view, but our non-credit side of the house has run multiple programs and kind of making some connections there. But like I said, I can't necessarily think about, unless anybody's talked about it specifically, we're doing something specific with students at this point in time, so.
Well, that was my just personal request and plug. I think with that, we are, does that conclude your report?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Very good. All right, we are going to move on to new business. I am not aware of any new business. And we can proceed through to old business. I am also not aware of any old business, which takes us to the consent agenda. Consent agenda is part of our regular agenda, which combines several routine items for consideration in one motion. And I will bring that motion forward. Do I have a second? All right, Trustee Carroll with the second. Any discussion on the consent agenda or any items that you would like to pull off for separate consideration? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented in the board packet, say aye.
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 And any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries 6-0. That takes us to executive session, which we do not have tonight, and straight into adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion made by Trustee Rattan and second. Second by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Great. Okay. Any opposed? Nope. And motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.